Do you think some of these movies are actually better than Black Panther Wakanda Forever and I'm just caught up in the moment, or is my blackness speaking? Let me know what you think about those things, and I would sift through those comments and we can start a conversation. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Whole Views. Today we are talking about Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and we're going to see how that movie compares to every other Marvel movie in Phase 4. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't so far. Most of the views we get are from the unsubscribed, and we would appreciate it if you would subscribe, come back, check out more videos, as well as let us know where you think Black Panther stacks up against the rest of the movies in the MCU, specifically Phase 4, because we can't go all the way back to Phase 1, 2, and 3. So, talking about Black Panther, I'm going to be doing spoilers here for that movie as well as every other movie in Phase 4, and I'm not going to get really deep into it because that'll make for a long video. But what I do want to talk about is how Black Panther compares. So, let's start off with the first and least close comparison to me, which would be Black Widow. Honestly, there's no comparison to be made. Like, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is so much better than Black Widow as a film. As a film, like narratively and just moving the MCU forward, I just don't feel like Black Widow did that much. I feel like they ruined the Taskmaster character. They didn't add any real significant depth to Natasha Romanoff's character. I just feel like it was a standard entry into the Marvel MCU. Really meh. Really easy to forget, and I actually did forget about it when I was coming up with the list. Second movie would be Wakanda Forever versus the Eternals. Now, I know some people was really high on the Eternals, but I was not. I did not like it. I didn't feel like they really moved the story a whole lot. They actually introduced a lot more questions than they gave answers, and it left me in a place where one, I didn't necessarily wanted to revisit that movie, and I haven't yet, as well as it had a lot of lingering issues with the movie for the larger MCU, with the idea of one of these celestials coming out of the earth and us wondering how does that mess with Earth's ecosystem? How does that affect all the other things that goes on in the world? And they only address it in a very small little blip in She-Hulk, a show that a lot of people will not be watching. Okay, third movie, it starts to get a little dicey here because we're talking Wakanda Forever versus Thor Love and Thunder. Thor was more fun than Wakanda Forever, and that's just true. Hands down, it was a more fun overall experience. But fun isn't always good. Thor was directed by Taika Waititi. Taika likes to do comedy. Thor as a film went for the jokes as often as possible, and I didn't really care for it all the way. When I went back and looked at my numbers, Thor did get the same score as Black Panther when I did my reviews and my breakdowns with the numbers, and that be in the description. But I must say that with the introduction of Namor and his version of Atlantis, with the way that this film honors Chad and at the same time moves the story forward by introducing some new players, I feel like Wakanda Forever is just a movie that I would want to visit more than I would want to visit Thor Love and Thunder. I have had the opportunity to watch Thor. It's on Disney Plus. It's just not something I really want to revisit. Fun, yes, but just something about it just doesn't lend itself for me looking at it again. And on the other hand, Black Panther is definitely something I want to see again, probably in theaters. So yeah, I would pick Wakanda Forever over Thor Love and Thunder. Okay, the fourth film, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So now it's really dicey. Now, in my opinion, it's a toss-up. If you are a type of person who prefers Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness over Wakanda Forever, I'm okay. I think that is a fair fight to have. When I go back and look at my numbers, I actually scored Doctor Strange slightly higher than I scored Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And it still just comes down to preference because I've had the opportunity, just like I have to watch Thor, I have it to watch Doctor Strange, and it's not something that I've ever gone back to. Doctor Strange is a very fun ride, and it has some very zany, cool things going on throughout the movie. But with all that being said, I still think I would probably prefer to see Black Panther over Doctor Strange 2. There are some very cool moments, but I think the lowest point in Doctor Strange is when you get the musical fight in like the third act. I didn't really care for the way it unraveled and played out at the end. Whereas Wakanda Forever, I don't feel like stumbles at any point. It's just a lot to take in at one time. So that's the only knock that I have on Black Panther, the pacing and the feel of it. Whereas Doctor Strange, there are some cringy little moments in there. And I feel like the title of Multiverse of Madness was kind of wasted. with the small amount of multiverse that we actually got. So Black Panther slightly over Doctor Strange, but that's just me. If somebody else said, nah, you tripping, I understand. Now we actually have a loss. Something I feel like Black Panther is not better than, and that's one of the films, because there are two. But first one that Black Panther is not better than, and I wouldn't pick to watch Black Panther over, would be Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is a highly enjoyable, highly rewatchable, slightly formulaic, but still very good Marvel movie. I enjoyed Shang-Chi so much that I believe I've watched it at least 5 times now, from start to finish too, not just put it on and go do something. Like I put it on and I sat down and I looked at that thing at least 5 times. Fifth time being today as of recording. When you're talking about the movies, I feel like the emotional weight is similar between Shang-Chi and Wakanda Forever. Not necessarily that the storylines are the same, but just the drama that you get between, I keep saying Shang-Chi and his father, as opposed to the way that Wakanda Forever honors Chad. Like both are weighty subject matters. Chadwick's passing being a real thing, Shang-Chi just being like a pretty good dramatic element of that movie. I feel like the weight is equal. I enjoyed both of those storylines thoroughly. Ultimately, just with the introduction of Shang-Chi, I think that it's the rewatchability, the way that it's so accessible. It's action, it's fighting with really, really good fight scenes throughout, not as much CG and tech and stuff involved. It's a lot of hand play and martial arts, and it's just something you want to revisit. And I revisited it a few times, and I don't see me revisiting Wakanda Forever that many times. Just don't. And then the last one, I really feel like there's no way that Black Panther or any other Marvel movie at this point can kind of stand up to it besides Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, and that would be Spider-Man No Way Home. The Spider-Man trilogy inside the MCU got better and better each time it came out, and I feel like having all three Peter Parkers, Tobey, Andrew, and Tom, so well done. And it was such a big moment for us comic book nerds. There's not much fan service that you can give that's better than that. And not only was it fan service, because I thought Andrew Garfield would pop in and then pop out. I think I said that in my review. I thought he would show up and then leave. But the fact that he showed up and then Tobey showed up and they stayed and they helped move the story forward and close out the movie, man, that's something that you just want to see over and over again. It was very well done. Now, I do feel like the story, when you strip down the story of Tom Holland's Spider-Man learning his lesson, is really not as impressive as Black Panther or Shang-Chi or possibly Doctor Strange. But the visuals that you get with the performances, the presence of the characters, the nostalgia of seeing your old Spider-Man with the new Spider-Man, helping him along his way, and ultimately ending in a place where we get a new franchise, because that's been announced, and like a new trilogy of the aging Tom Holland into almost the Tobey Maguire version of Spider-Man. It's like, oh man, you did it so well. It was so well done. So yeah, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is not better than Spider-Man No Way Home. It is not better than Shang-Chi, but I would pick it over almost every other movie in Phase 4. That's the summary, y'all. And that's the video, y'all. Let me know what you think about those points. Do you think some of these movies are actually better than Black Panther Wakanda Forever and I'm just caught up in the moment? Or is my blackness speaking? Let me know what you think about those things, and I would sift through those comments and we can start a conversation. That's all I got for this one, y'all. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.